Hey guys, it's Marty and welcome to Two Lion Slot Cars. It's Tuesday. Time for another live stream. Hopefully you guys are having a great week so far. I know it's early in the week, but hopefully you're enjoying life. Let's see, where's the chat? Here we go. I lost it there for a second. Wow, there's a bunch of stuff going on in the chat already. I'm late to the game. Steve, welcome. Yeah, Steve, I would agree, man. I'm having a great time too. So, hey, Dusty, welcome. And Steve, welcome. Hey, George, great video on the tire review for the Carrera Mario and almost said Luigi Yoshi cars. Those are fantastic cars. They will be a big hit for Carrera. I'm sure that they've already sold a bunch of them, and that's exciting. Hey, Gene, welcome. Let's see. Who else? Hey, DeFingers. Come on, ice cream. Hey, George. Let's say Steve DeFingers. Who else we have in here? There's a lot of chatter before. Dusty finally got him a Revo slot. Yes. And it's pretty sweet too. So hopefully people are starting to pile in here. Got a bunch of things that we could talk about. I didn't really have a big plan, mainly because my plans get derailed. Hey, Daryl, welcome. Glad to have you. Steve, I'm coming off of a great race weekend. I actually won 2 races and won GT Unlimited. It was tremendous, but it was all because of 2 cars. I was honored to pilot prepared. Ah, nice. Congratulations, Steve. Way to get the win. Hey, Gene, George. How's the track coming? Yeah. George posted videos of him building his table, getting ready for his wood track. I'm excited to watch that, the progress of that. It'll be fun. Hey, Shotgun Dave, welcome. Glad you're here. Hey, John, welcome. Wow, man, there's a bunch of chat. Yes, sir, another fine choice. Yeah, Dusty picked up the 911 and the GT1 car, and I picked up the Revo 911 GT2. Focus. Come on. Keeps wanting to. Never mind. It's not going to focus. I must have messed up the settings on my camera. Hey, Bruce, welcome. Hey, Dave, good evening, early morning to you. Hey, Danny, welcome. What's up? I got to remember with JDM Black Box. There we go. Had to read it backwards. I was a little slow on the take. Hi, Brad, welcome. Dan, Mr. John Mark Hall is in the house. Curvy Road. Oh, yeah, all good stuff. I will catch up with the chat. Just a couple things to talk about. You guys know my sponsor, Rost Coffee. If you follow me on Facebook, you know that on Wednesday, the morning after last week's live stream, they had a fire. Their roaster caught on fire, and they grabbed the fire extinguisher to put it out. Pretty simple thing. It happens when you roast coffee. A lot of dust from the coffee beans, things like that. So they got to keep the roaster clean. Usually you just hit it with the fire extinguisher and put it out. Not a big deal. And the fire extinguisher didn't work. And they grabbed another fire extinguisher and it didn't work. I don't think they just had them tested and certified a week before or so. So I just wanted to share that news with you. My buddy Trent, who owns Roast, sent me a text message on Wednesday night because I'd sent him the names of last week's winners for coffee, and he's like, hey man, it might be a few days before I can get some coffee roasted to get out to. So if you won coffee beans the last 2 weeks, beans will be coming once they get back up and running, but they reopened today, so that's good news. But I just wanted to share that with the channel. I know a lot of you guys have bought coffee from Trent and enjoy his beans, and yeah, pretty sad that he has to deal with that, but they will bounce back. They're tough. So remember, 2 lines, all one word, gets you 25% off your coffee at Rost, your first order. So 2 lines. Oh, I should probably put the Rost logo up and the Rost coffee up, just because that's what we do. So there you go. So you know how to get a hold of it. So that's one thing. Today, right after work, I went to a signing. So for those of you who take care of Rost, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I went in and bought a cup of coffee this morning just because I knew they were open, and one cup helps, I guess. So another friend of mine released a book today, and I went to a book signing. His name's Wes Molbash. I'm a few years older than Wes, but he is an incredible cartoonist. He has been since early childhood, sharing his comics locally, and he released his first graphic novel today. And so they had a book signing, and I got a book, Travis Daventhorpe for the Win. It is a middle school age book, which is right up my alley. But if you have a middle schooler, pick this book up. I'm only about 10, 15 pages in. The artwork is beautiful. I mean, he is a great cartoonist, but it is fantastic. It's got a great storyline. My buddy Wes Molbash, he's actually going to be on the podcast tomorrow night. So we'll record that and get to catch up and all the excitement. But he's been signed for 4 books. So book 1 just released. It's been a 6-year project to get to this point. So I'm pretty proud of him. I wanted to brag him up. He won't be watching this, so he has no idea that I've done this, but talked about it. But it's really cool. And I'm gifted to be surrounded by a lot of talented people, and that are all good friends. And so it's pretty cool. So into slot cars. Let's see, what else did I miss? Any roastcoffee.com. Thanks, Dusty, for posting that. I appreciate that. Let's see. Hey, Pat, turn up my mic. All right. Check 1. Test 1, 2, 3. I'm kind of peaking, so I'll just make sure that I'm a little closer. Thanks, Pat. Check 1. Check 1, 2, 3. Anyway, yeah. Oh, that kind of threw me. What else we have? Shane, it's morning for you. Good morning. Top of the morning. Curvy Road, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, they were pretty bummed. They have 3 partner businesses in-house with them, and they're all 3 have apparel, and it fixed. Okay, my camera is not focusing. There we go. And they, of course, all the smoke damage that they had kind of ruined all of their inventory. So not only did it impact the coffee, it impacted the 3 other businesses, and I think that's what is so heartbreaking for Trent, is that he feels the weight of that, being responsible for, his business being responsible for the other businesses having some struggles with it. So, but yep, they're all. I don't know if the other businesses have opened up back up yet, but the coffee shop was open this morning. So when I stopped in about 7:30 to get some coffee. So, Gene, hey Marty, the pink Audi R8 holds my track record. It's blazing fast. Gene, good choice. I don't have mine handy, but I ran it the other night. I will tell you, it's not as fast as Dusty's Pink Pig. His Carrera Digital Pink Pig is super fast. Yeah, it's like 917 fast. The 917, my 917 Carrera is probably the only car that could keep up with it. Mainly because those 917s have a longer cam motor, so they probably got a few more RPMs. But it doesn't handle near as well as his Pink Pig. But Bruce or Gene, I'm glad you enjoy that. That's a great looking car. As you can see, I don't have. This is a 124 scale, so this is my first 124 scale car. This is a DTM. It's a Mercedes. Let's see, what is it? The AMG C. Can't read it. C63 maybe DTM. So we run a digital class and an analog class. So I ran this in the digital class. I picked it up on Thursday. I noticed that a mirror is already missing. No surprise. 124 scale becomes kind of a demolition derby a little bit. So much. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that digital racing. But I have some questions about this car. How do you guys race 124 digital? How do you tune this? What are some of your tricks? I'd love to know what you guys are doing to make this car fast. I felt like I had it pretty competitive until I ended up being 3 laps down, mostly because pit stop problems, missing the fuel light coming in too fast, and had to make another lap. And by the time I did that at 10% speed, I was down 2 laps before I knew it. So what are some of the things that you do for your Carrera 124 scale cars to get them running good? So let me know in the chat, and we can talk about that. I can even tell you what I've done, but I feel like there's not a lot you can do to the 124 scale cars, at least these Carrera cars. But let me know. Hey, Raul, what's up? Hey, Johnny Pro. Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. How was the slot show in Highland? It was a little bit of a drive for me to get there, and it started at like noon on Sunday, right? And I've got way too much going on Sunday mornings. I'm super involved at my church, and so there was no way. All these slot car shows start on Sunday at noon, and I got invited to go to an enduro this Sunday, and it starts at noon, and it's about a 2-hour drive to get there. So the race would probably be over by the time I'd get there. Let's see here. Ronan, Rost reopened. Yes, they opened this morning. I don't know about roasting beans. He's probably traveling a little bit to another local roaster to borrow their machine until his is repaired. And I haven't talked to him to know what's going on there. So I'll keep you filled in. But yeah, no damage to the building. It all was in the roaster, which sits kind of in the middle of the coffee shop. He just has to catch back up. So I will be giving coffee away for one of you guys. Danny Wiley won it last week, and the week before it was, John Bacon won the coffee the week before. So, got some coffee coming out to you guys hopefully soon. And then somebody else will win tonight. Let's see, Daryl, loan them to other people so I don't have to run them. I don't know what my Carrera RSR Porsche is the fastest lap time here. Why? It has amazing strong magnet downforce. Brad. Yeah, that's the same as the Pink Pig. Yeah, here's the Pink Pig, and it has a lot of mag downforce. It flies. It's really a fast car. So same car, I believe. What's a 3 lap? What's 3 laps amongst friends? Okay. Want to try Ronan, the Brazil is really good. It's a single origin bean. I won't get into it, but for espresso, usually it's blends. Some coffees do not espresso well. So if you're an espresso drinker and have an espresso machine at home, the Brazil is fantastic and it's very easy. I usually nail the grind the first time, and then the whole bag. I never have to move my grinder through a whole bag of beans, which is most others. I have to keep chasing it, adjusting a little bit. Dusty Daryl Pinsky, where the price is pretty good at that show. Yeah, Dave, if anybody tuned in last night, Raul hosted a great conversation about digital versus analog, and it really wasn't about which one's better or worse, just really kind of the future of slot cars and how analog and digital impact the future of the hobby. Dave Kennedy was on, and Dave talked about that's where for slot car retailers, sometimes the slot car shows are where they really make their money. Because they have all their inventory, a lot of inventory there, and there's a lot of people who are there to buy. Those shows, people usually bring cash and are ready to buy some stuff. So usually prices are good, and people are selling and trading and doing a lot of things. Never made it to a slot car show yet, but hopefully, man, I would love to get to the UK slot car show. Slot car show is, I think it's next month. Maybe it's in May. Man, that would be awesome. But I'd be a fish out of water. I wouldn't know anybody. Haven't tried one yet, but for 124 DTM, Slot Invasion sells a rear suspension kit. Yeah, Ross, I've looked at that, but we can't run those in this class. They pretty much want them bone stock, which is fine. You can change the rear tires. You can glue and true. Outside of that, that's really all you can do. You have to use the original guide, and we run no magnets. All classes are no magnets at Cincy Slots. So, yeah, it's a car that like float doesn't really help. So yeah, I'm just curious what's everybody else doing. Let's see here. Prices are a little high, but most people would cut a deal. Yeah, that's probably true. They leave a little room to maneuver. Gerardo, what's up? Make sure you radius the chassis so you can get good float. Make sure the motor doesn't hit the bottom of the interior. Gotcha. Yeah, I know. Most of the guys there, they don't even. Maybe they do, and they just say that they don't. Danny, I'm glad you're excited about the coffee. Hey, Grand Santa Man, welcome. You're not too late. We're only 18 minutes in. Only 124 cars I would run are vintage class, and we don't race vintage. Daryl, we need to work on Bruce because the vintage cars are so great. You got the Carrera Lola, and you got the 917 Porsche. You've got a few others. We need to run a vintage class. If I start a club here, Daryl, we will run a 124 scale vintage class. Actually, what we should do is run a 124 BRM class because you can tune those babies. I have not had one or own one at this point, but I hear a lot of good things. If they're anything like Revo slot cars, I love these Revo slots. They seriously. We can talk about those. Let's see. Hey, Stephen, welcome. If anyone is using a True Speed digital controller, Curvy Road, everybody. When they race digital is using the True Speed on my track. I've got some Carrera, the plunge, so that we have 6 controllers, but we've got those. And then Dusty's using his slotted controller. He bought the digital kit for it, and we can plug that in. If anyone's using a True Speed. Hi, Steve. Hey, Lion Face, welcome. Steve, we don't use the word around here. That's funny. Last night's streaming was great. Yeah, Kirby, I agree, man. I thought it was a great conversation. Dave provided a ton of great insight. That's the beauty of that. He really, it's just great insight on how the business of slot cars work. And I've heard him talk about that numerous times. It wasn't something that I was shocked to hear, but it was. I think it was good for everybody involved to hear it. You know what I mean? Those who maybe aren't in retail all the time, you don't realize all the things that go on, and what you miss out on understanding. I had a software company for about very small software company. It was owned by the company I worked for, and then they sold it off to a group of 5 of us, and we operated it for almost about 12 or 13 years. And it was a piece of presentation software. Think PowerPoint on steroids, with like a library to keep things that you use a lot. It was for church worship software. So presenting lyrics on the screen and things. And we wrote that software, and we talked to a book publisher about distribution. And that software, we were at $249 for the software. That was a lifetime license, no subscriptions or anything like that. And the publisher wanted us to sell it to them for $9. And then they would distribute to hundreds of bookstores across the country at a time where bookstores were disappearing. And they wanted them to sell it for $99. And so we just couldn't make the math work. We were selling great numbers every month at $249, and it just didn't make any sense for us to cut all of our. We basically would just be giving away the software at that point, which we eventually did. So when it got to end of life, we just gave it to people for free. But yeah, it's a rude awakening when you start talking distribution. There's a lot of hands in the kitchen, and everybody wants their share, and it makes it hard to make money. So let's see here. Nice. We have 2 TrueSpeed controllers. Yep. Let's go to the UK. Raul, let's do it. The hard part might be talking my wife into that, unless she can go with us. So maybe I can talk her into that, but she would rather go visit our kids in Colorado. I have heard nothing good things about TrueSpeed controllers. I would agree. When you're racing digital, they're a fantastic controller for Carrera Digital. Ronan, poke the bear, poke the bear. Steve, don't go there, right? Yeah, we like them a lot. John Marcus, right? Seeing that's your first 124 scale, how does it run on your track? Gene, it runs really well. But understand that this isn't a 132nd scale car. This is a 124 scale car, and it's big and heavy. It's 200. Oh gosh, let me see how much this thing weighs. I'm guessing like 230, 233. So I think I'm right there in the range where I want to be, 230, 240 on the weight. It handles pretty good. It stays in the slot really well. I'm really happy with the car. The pink it sticks out like a sore thumb on the track, which I have focus issues sometimes, so that definitely helps me. Especially the digital races are 14 minutes long. Sometimes they're 11 minutes, but yeah, it depends. That's a long time to stare at a car going around the track. So the pink definitely helps. Let's see here. Ferrari, George, it's non-mag. There, 51. If you want to stick your cars to a fridge. Yeah, we run them non-mag. Revo 2, yep. Big Jimmy, BRM, yes. I need to get my hands on a BRM, and they're getting ready to release those Sunoco, the Ferrari 512Ms. Man, those things look good. There's 2 different liveries. They're similar. It's just the 2 different liveries. They ran that car. One at Le Mans, and the other one was where they run at Sebring. And so like one's a yellow wing, one's a blue wing. But man, they look really good. Steven, the BRM 120 fifth vintage, amazing cars. You got one on order. We will see. Okay, cool. Oops, did I put that up on there? No. What's going on? There we go. What else? Bruce wanted to do a BRM race, but nobody wanted to spend the money for the cars. I get that. I mean, like bottom end is like 125. Like that's like white kit type of kit. Most of them are 150. Yeah, it's a lot to spend. I get it, but it's all super nice components. I mean, just like the Revos are. Dave pretty much tells it like it is, not a lot of sugarcoating. Yeah, you're right. Slot Journal, Dave. He's pretty frank when it comes to dealing with the big slot car companies. I think the biggest frustration he has, he didn't really say this last night, but I get the sense that he feels like he has some influence in the industry, and other channels do as well on YouTube, and that they just kind of let them, advertise for them for free, and don't seem to help out a lot. And I guess they underestimate the influence that he has, and maybe Travis has, and Pete, and some of these larger slot car channels. So, yeah, I mean, he talks about a car, and it probably sells the next day, and that's pretty impressive. But he's been in the industry a long time. I mean, just like Harry Wise has been around slot cars for a long time, and has a lot of influence with the slot car companies. And I mean, he has their ear, and that's pretty impressive. And I think he has some distributors or retailers that support him and his channel, but I'm not sure that he sees much help from any of the big channel, or the big companies. Not sure anybody does. Let's see here. Catching up. Bourbon and rare steak. Wow. We're talking about all kinds of things. Vegan salad. I see Daryl there. I had to get an inexpensive, but still cool. Yeah, they are expensive. But you said let's do it, and let's Marty. No excuses, UK. Here we come. All right, Raul. I'll give you a call later. We can work out the details. 220. Lose the wing. Lose the wing. Is the wing that heavy, George? Okay, good to know. I'll play around with that. Yeah, 220 grams. It was 233. 233. No weight added. I think there's some guys that actually add a little bit of weight. I don't know why you would need to, but that's 3 NSRs altogether. I know. Like racing a brick. I mean, I could throw it on the track here later and run some laps, and you could watch it go around the track. It's low and slow. How's that? It's not a 1/32 scale car. It does not scream around. But when you're racing 6 cars on the track at once, it's a little chaotic, and there's something about, I kind of like it. I'm glad we're doing it digital. I had a moment where I was racing side by side with Bruce for 3 or 4 laps, and then I made a mistake, and he bumped me out of the lane, out of the slot, and it was all my fault. I should have let him take the turn, and I was on the outside, and it was just fun racing, and that's when I kind of fell in love with, like, okay, this is it's a way better experience than I had the first time I raced him. We just kind of got thrown in the first time, and I wasn't really prepared. So I've been waiting on the flat black Camaro and Mustang from BRM for 2 years. Alan isn't keeping up with the demands. Yeah, I mean, I think that those Camaros and Mustang, they look great, the BRM. I was looking at them earlier, right before we went live. Marty repeatedly squeezed me off the track last week. It's My first go at it, and Steven. Oh man, you're right. I knocked you out of the slot quite a few times. It was a lot of fun. Steven, you decided like 15 minutes before we raced digital to buy a car and tune it to get it prepped and ready. Gosh, that was so much fun. That was a lot of fun. That's 2 dinners with the wife. Got it. Let's see. Just got my BRM 512 today. So William, they started shipping. Oh, I thought they were just like announcing that they were coming soon. I did not realize that they were shipping. That's actually pretty cool. Man, who sells BRM? Where do you get them? Professor Motor? What other retailers are out there? Let's see, Steve. That's how he has to race with Dusty and John. Yeah. Stevie's good at that. Oh, that's great. A lot of BS goes on behind the slot car scene. Yeah, John, that's going back to what we were talking about last night on the stream with Raul and George, and Billy and Amanda were there too. Billy and Amanda had some great insight on from being a retailer of what's popular, and about digital is all he sells pretty much anymore. And but Dave's frustration was they haven't released anything new since the check lane, and he worked for Carrera when they released that. So yeah, they just don't have any good ideas to add to digital. But yeah, you're right. A lot goes on in the background. That we're not privy to. So yeah, it's Dave kind of pulls back the curtain a little bit and lets us see that. Big pink car, watch out. That's right. Hey man, your Mercedes it's pretty sweet. The flat red looks good. Home Racing World. Which channel? Oh, Steve. Which channel is Harry? Yeah, Home Racing World. Steve. Harry Wise. Good stuff. Lots of great tuning. He released a video. Let's see. Where's my Mustang? Oh, it's in my box. I put the slot invasion. I looked at my box and I realized I had a slot invasion guide. And so I tried the slot invasion on the Mustang, the Thunder Slot Mustang. And I feel a little more confident in the slot. It's not quite as sloppy going around the turns. I don't know that I really picked up any speed. I'm sure eventually I will. I'll see it in my lap times, but I'm still trying to beat my top lap time, and I haven't been able to get there. And I don't know if it's just tires or I've just done enough tweaking and adjusting that I've moved away from the sweet spot a little bit. So I'm just like a couple hundredths off. It's pretty close. DeFingers, you got it. This car is now named Just Happened. Just Happened. Hey, Marty, I forgot you were on. I enjoyed the stream last night. Gary, yes, the stream last night was fantastic. Raul does an awesome job of leading that discussion. It's really, really a lot of fun. Let's see. What was it? Hey, Harry. Welcome, man. Good to have you on the live stream tonight. Talking, I don't know if you've ever, you do the scratch build 125th scale. I need some advice on getting this thing to run its best so I can knock Steve out of his slot on Thursday night. Just some tuning tips for the 124 scale Carrera cars. Let's see here. What do we got? When you're running 124 on your Carrera track, what do you turn your voltage to? Gene, good question. I'm running the track at 18 volts when I'm running the 124 cars. And honestly, I haven't done it very often. I've only cranked it up to 18 volts a couple of times. One was testing a couple things that I did to this car to see if I could improve the time. And that's really it. We've not really raced 124 scale here. This was my first one. I just got it on Thursday. John Mark has a Ford GT and a GT40. You can't see it because of the Two Lines logo on the screen back here on the shelf. So he's had a couple of them, but we've never really had the power to run them until I got the adjustable power supply. So Harry's ears were burning. We weren't talking bad about Harry. We were bragging about him. Hey, we can be on next week. Billy and Amanda all week are having an auction on Whatnot at 8:00. And so, Billy, thanks for joining us. Hopefully your Whatnot auction went great tonight. You and Amanda do a great job with those. I'm tuning in. I'm hoping next week Mark from Smart Race jumps on. I had some questions about analog timing and running some races, and I reached out to him, and I'm hoping that I can make that happen for next week. But yeah, we definitely have you come back on. Let's see. Takes no 124 prisoners. Yeah, I'm too slow in 132nd. I can't keep up with anybody. So that 124 scale is the only place I can keep up. Let's see. What else do we have? If you don't like the way I drive, get off the sidewalk. William Acker, where did you get your BRM? 132 slot cars, US. Professor Motor, maybe. But I went out to their website today, and I didn't see all the BRM 124 scale they had was sold out. So, yeah, Dusty, you need to pick out a 124 car. Thanks, William. Appreciate that. Let's see here. John Bacon, thanks, man. John, I don't know if you were on earlier. I talked about Rost had a fire, so your beans might be a little late. So as soon as they get the repair done on the roaster, we'll get your beans out to you. So wider radiuses of lane changing curves would be awesome. Ronan, I agree. I do not have any R1 turns in my layout, so I can't. But we have one of the turn changers. Now, I know I have to rewire that for use with the tech slot box, but I'm willing to do that. But it would be great to have a 230, a 330, and a 415 turn lane, like turning in and turning out, so you could do, overtakes and undertakes, and that would just add so much to some of these, definitely to my layout. I'm sure that you could probably get creative and make your own. Design it, 3D print it, put the rails in it. But that would be a lot of work. So, yeah, I agree. Wider radius lane changes would be great. He said very limited run, one per customer. Okay, cool. Marty, do you have any ideas on what to add to digital? Gene, that's my idea would be different radius lane changers for turn lane changers. I mean, I know why they wouldn't sell enough of them. You know, if people have small layouts, they don't have room for 415 turns. And if you have, you kind of have to have the perfect layout to make some of those work. I get it. I don't know what other good ideas for digital. I'd have to really think about that. I haven't put much thought to that. Maybe I'll get back to you on that. Let's see. George put the link up to the BRM cars. Nice. My classic NASCARs are all done per his instruction. Oh, you're talking about Harry. Yep. Hey, Bruce, welcome. Good to have you. It's harder to knock people off with 124 scale. I don't know. Billy, I might have to disagree. Ask Steve. I didn't have a problem knocking him out of the slot on Thursday night. That's funny. His 3-part lowering videos are awesome. I learned from all. Yep, he's a master. Definitely. I agree. Harry, the chassis was beautiful. 2 separate pieces of brass. Oh, yes. I know which one you're talking about. That was the 43 blue, is that Richard Petty car? That chassis was gorgeous. And it kind of reminded me of the new, like, a simplified shape of the new Thunderslot Mustang chassis. Just in from the garage. What were you working on? The Pinto? or the Beetle or the Mini? Bruce, inquiring minds want to know. I guess I need to put some weight in Steve's car so he can bump Marty out Thursday. That's great. He'll build a slot car you can't refuse. You can't use a banked 130 with any car. Right? Yeah, no, you can't. I heard you say something about trying to park my truck. No worries. It's all good. Okay. Thanks, John. We'll take care of you, man. I promise. I'm just ending up spending Bruce the alimony payments I'm finally getting away from. Thanks for being transparent there, Dusty. Amen on the lane changers. See, I agree, Bruce. I think that's a great idea. Ronan brought that up. It would be great to have like a 230 or 330. Like your layout, Bruce, in Cincy is a lot of 230 turns. There's 35 of them in there, 34, 35, if I remember the plan. It would be easy to have a 230 lane changer and have that all over in some great takeover places. Man, that would really change digital racing. That would really add some excitement instead of, that would be passing into the lane. I would be outbraking somebody into the lane, right? Like some of that would just be a lot of fun. But then, I don't know, does somebody have the R1 lane changers? Do you use them in your layout? When you're racing, do you ever have that much time? 10 cars here with slot invasion guides. They're quieter a little, but no difference in lap times or anything but noise. Frankenslots will be tried next. So, Brad, my experience with that, the Frankenslot and the Slot Invasion USA guides for Carrera cars, both fantastic. They just fill out the slot really nice, and they're super smooth, and you don't get there's not a lot of slop. So I feel like you just have a confidence when you're driving the car with those in there. So like both of them. Oscar has been on the live stream every once in a while from Slot Invasion USA. Seems to be a great guy. He mentioned something about hooking up with me about, talking guides, and we've never made that happen. So I should probably reach out to him. But I really like the Slot Invasion guide on the Mustang. Now, Harry, he shows the video of that. I think it was yesterday. And I'd put mine on over the weekend, and after George sent me a message and said, "Hey, Harry thinks that if you have that Slot Invasion guide, you should try it." And I did, and I'm happy I put it on there. It really suits the car well. Again, I think that as I get more confident driving that car around the track with that guide, my lap times will come down a little bit. I mean, we're talking a tenth of a second at this point. It's minimal. I've got the car moving pretty good. Bruce, yeah, Carrera needs R2 and R3 lane changers. Yeah. Marty needs to practice more of the 124. You're right. I do. I need to just get a couple 400 or 500 laps. Maybe Steve can come over and give me a target. Let's see here. Kirby Road. Hey, Cincy Slots, you have any True Speed digital controllers? Oh, you're looking for the cords? He might. Bruce can answer that. The absolute best would be for them to offer their own type of tech box. You know what? I that was right in front of me, and I didn't even think about that, Bruce. Eric Daly, you need more trucks. Eric, check out Carrera's line of trucks. They're releasing trucks every year. They're just kind of like the semi trucks. They're not the type of trucks that you're looking for. But yes, Eric, good to have you. Eric's a buddy of mine from church. He is a mean guitar player. So Eric, welcome. He's been over to the track. He brought his son with him. We did some digital racing that day. That was fun. But Bruce, going back to your tech slot box type of thing from Carrera, That would be easy for them to do. So easy. And it would sell. I mean, ask Joseph. Joseph gets bombarded every time he offers a handful of them for sale. He gets overwhelmed by orders, I think. And you just get burnt out. You're one guy making all this stuff. You get burnt out. I get it. I've talked to him a handful of times. Really, really good guy. So when he does have them and you need a tech slot box, I would jump on it because it's a handy tool. Really fortunate to, thank you, George. I'm really fortunate to have one on my track right now. I think somebody asked, what is the voltage for running 124? How different from running 132nd? So to fingers, we run 14 volts most of the time for 132nd scale. I tune for for 14 volts because that's what we race at Cincy Slots. But then if I just want to just get some laps and work on my timing and things, I'll crank it down to 13 volts, even 12 volts. And gosh, I never come out of the slot at 12 volts and still have really quick lap times. So yeah, that's that. 124 scale, we're running 18 volts. And even 18 volts, you get 6 of those cars on the track. And I feel like they're kind of dogs, but everybody's dealing with the same amount of power. So it's still pretty fair. You have to modify the R1 changer if you also run digital, right? Yeah, it's just that the two, they're wired together, both lanes. So you have to cut that wire and rewire it so that they're not connected. Or you burn up your chips. I know about that. Let's see. What else do we have? I have a R1 in my layout. I use them, but not too many other people do. Yeah, Curvy, if it's your layout, you know where it's at. That's kind of how the lane changers are here. You kind of forget where some of them are, and you kind of get your favorite lane changers that you use frequently. Let's see. What did I miss, Steve? Warning, use caution, tire trailing with a beard. Let's see. Hey, Jay, thanks, man. I appreciate you hanging out and listening to the chat. It's good stuff. I like the Ghost car to record the throttle position for a whole lap and then repeat it lap after lap, not just a single setting. You could have much more competitive Ghost cars. Dave, I mean, that would take some programming in the chip or in the CU, but it would be nice if you've got a hairpin turn that you don't have to set the car's speed for the entire layout based on that one turn. That is a frustrating part to Ghost cars, but Ghost cars are a great thing. If I'm on running digital on my track, set up a couple Ghost cars. It's fun. It's great. What you can do, Dave, and I know that you probably already do this because I think I've heard you talk about it, is add a little magnet, do a little tuning to those Ghost cars so that they hang in the turns a little, so you can run a little faster speed. That's what I do. A lot of times this is my fastest car, and I'll set it up as a Ghost car because it just sticks and I can run it pretty fast to the point where a lot of times I can't beat it. I'll start to get close and then I'll come out of the slot and I never catch up with him. So that's kind of what I do. If you're that close, get a face shield. Oh, you're talking about the beard. I would like to see the 911 run on the track. Gary, this 911. All right. We'll try to do that before the night's over. Gosh, it's 8:49. How does this happen? I only have the slot invasion guides on the Carrera car so far. Brad, I recommend them for slotted. The slot. What is that? What's the other company? Slotting Plus. They have a nice wood guide too. Yes, I have one. It's not quite as thick. You're not going to be able to see that since I can't get it to focus. It's not as thick as the Slot Invasion guide or as long, but it does a really, really good job. So I kind of recommend those as well, and usually get like 2 of those for the same price as a Slot Invasion. So worth looking into. With modern AI, you'd think it would be hard to have a car remember throttle controls over a lap. Right. No cords. They sold out on the cords. Okay. Good. Or not good, but thanks, Bruce, for answering that question. Yeah, George. So Eric, if you're still on here, George does a lot of scratch building. Harry Wise does a lot of scratch building. Shotgun Dave. There's a bunch of guys on this channel that do a lot of scratch building that are in the chat. And they go look at Harry Wise's proxy races, and there's some really great trucks. I'll send you some links. See. We only buy one brand of semi-truck. Dusty works for Kenworth, just so you know. Kenworth. There's only one brand of semi-truck in this family, and it's Kenworth. Let's see. Very cool trucks. I'm going to have to make them for 1/43rd scale. Done a few already. You must be talking about trucks. Nobody races the trucks, but I would. Daryl, you probably would race the trucks, wouldn't you? Old Tom Sawyer, mean bride. Let's see. Carrera trucks got more popular when they released the racing truck series. I believe that. And Billy, you would know, you sell them, so you know what goes out the door. I just built a 125th Peterbilt wrecker brass chassis for my truck. It is a brute. That's cool. Let's see. Steven, that's, yeah, man. I'm sure you got me back there towards the end of the race. We probably aren't even. I probably knocked you out a few more times than you knocked me out, but yeah. But you have Daryl on your side. So he's in your garage. He's tuning all your cars. The Fiesta trucks from Fly look good. I'm not familiar with those. I'll have to check them out. That's Watts. Can be double-sided tape. I think Pioneer was running to produce trucks at one time. Went upstairs last night to check things out. Ended up doing 500 laps working on the non-magnet driving. Time gets away. Brad, yes, I will tell you, when you're practicing with no mags and you have I have one turn that I'm struggling with. And there'll be 3 or 4 laps in a row that I'll come out of that same turn because I'm trying to just carry too much speed through it. And I can't break my rhythm pattern. That's so frustrating. And so then you're like 400 laps later before you realize it. I have the Carrera wrecker. Carrera is releasing the track cleaning truck this year, which is really, I think, is a great idea. Dusty has the track cleaner here that we use on my track. And I set it down someplace and I haven't been able to find it. I know it's around here someplace. That's really handy. I made a video on it months ago. Richard Kruger, hi Marty. I would like Carrera to come out with cars and trucks from the 60s and 70s. I would love an 89 Ford window van, or how about a 1970 Chevelle, maybe in 1990 last year, the real Bronco. Yeah, those are all cool. I mean, I think that they really have to. The molds, we talked about it last night in the live stream. On Raul's live stream, Dave talked about the price of tooling and how expensive it is to create a mold for a truck or for a car. 124 scale is about $80,000. And you got to sell a lot of slot cars to recover that cost. So that's why you don't see some of these things. We talked about the Shadow and MR slot car in Canada. Ernie is making the Shadow, and he only produced 550 of those cars. Like that didn't pay for the mold, a $60,000 mold for the Shadow body. And there's only 2 liveries for that car. And so he's got 2 liveries and a white kit. So he's trying to make up out of 3 cars to pay for that. And so we were like, he's not going to pay for that. It's a pet project. He's doing it because he loves the Shadow and wants to create the Shadow, and it will be a crazy popular car. But yeah, man, it's hard. It's hard for us to, we could demand a lot of different cars. Like, that's where scratch building comes in. I think if you can get the model kit, then you can make your own. That's why George and Harry and Dave and a bunch of guys push that, because if there's a car you really, really want, if you want a truck, then you can scratch build it and make it. My first car was a 1970 Ford Maverick, and I've already looked for the model kit. It will be one of the first scratch build cars I make, just because I'm sentimental about that car. I loved that car, and I would love to have a slot car just to cruise around the track that looked like my first car I owned when I was 16. Dusty and I had a lot of fun in that car. So a lot of great memories. And so, like, that's how you do that. Let's see here. If I miss your comments, guys, I apologize. I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting stuff. We haven't even really gotten into anything that I plan to talk about. This is what happens every week. Jagged Brush, thanks, man. I really do like the layout. It flows really well. It's quick. It's fast. It's great for digital racing. The new pit entry is kind of cool on the turn. We kind of like it, I think. You have to be ready for it. You really have to slow down. It's created just some interesting pit lane stuff. But then when we run analog, no mag, yeah, it works great for that too. Steven, no joke. You do drive the 124 well. I was impressed. Not that I know much about it. Yeah, thanks. It was really just you go as fast as you can, but you really have to work the throttle, because I think fuel mileage, that app, I felt like I was running out of gas all the time, and I think I probably need to feather the run more of a fuel race the next time, because I ended up 3 laps down or something, and like, how did that happen? I was competitive. I was passing people, and I was still 3 laps down. I'm like, how does that happen? I want the Faraday box for all my Revo slots and NSRs. I don't know if I know what the Faraday box is. Carrera had a 70 Chevelle. Matthew still talks about the time we went to Marty's house to race cars. He had a blast. Yeah, he did. He did great too. Bruce had the eye of the tiger going, though. Focused like a laser beam. Yeah, his car is quick. It's quick. Plus, he knows how to drive it around that layout. He has like 1 million laps on that layout compared to my 500. Maybe I just need to go spend the day there and rent the track and just do laps all day. Let's see. Is what I was totally thinking Kenworth, but Peterbilt is a nice truck too. That's funny. The K-Whopper. When we were kids, talking about Kenworth, so there's a local plant. Dusty works for Kenworth and builds trucks. And when I was a kid, this is going to show my age, in the 1980s, there was a TV show called BJ and the Bear. Does anybody remember BJ and the Bear? And he drove a Kenworth truck, and that was a famous paint scheme. And Dusty, they even painted a Gulf livery truck. He sent me the picture of it the day that they pulled it off the line. It was really sweet, Gulf livery. But that was a custom paint that they did for somebody. That's how they ordered it. But anybody remember BJ and the Bear? He drove a Kenworth. What else do we have? You don't believe Carrera trucks sell? I kind of have my doubts too. I've seen a few YouTube videos where people are running them in a class. I don't know. They seem top heavy. To me, You watch. I probably should be careful what I say because I didn't think the Legends cars would be very fun either, and I'm kind of having a good time with those. The Audi R8 sell in Canada too. Swiffer mop for track cleaning. Yeah, John. Yeah, Swiffer does a great job. Daryl's the man under his wing and driving for the win every night. How appropriate Dusty owns the track cleaner. Eric Daly, click this link. There you go. What have I missed? I'd like to see Oldsmobile cars. Oh, gosh. Eric, I hate to disappoint you, but like, I don't think there's a big enough market for Oldsmobile cars. What, like the Cutlass? Like an 80s Cutlass? Dusty and I, our friends Kelly and Toby Irwin had Cutlasses. I don't know. I just like the 442. I mean, you could probably reconfigure a mold of all the Chevelle to make that. I don't know. That might be a lot of work. That's a good one, Bernie. That's a good one. Eric, they make 1950 Olds and an 84. There you go. Me too, Eric. Real Car 71 Cuddy Ragtop. I'm hoping Tom built a slot car version of it. As a 143rd guy, I have no choice sometimes but to scratch build. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that your selection at 143rd is very good. I mean, I think that's the appeal to 132nd scale. It's big enough that the detail is good, and it's got good speed and all those things, you know. People would buy tons of fantasy liveries of the Shadow. I totally agree, and I think that's what he's going to have to do, Bruce, is he's going to have to just start dreaming up some. I mean, Dusty mentioned it last night. There needs to be a golf livery. They make golf. They put golf livery on lots of cars that were never golf livery cars, right? They never saw a track with golf livery, but they do it all the time with the golf livery. And so, like, there needs to be a Shadow that's the golf livery, and it will sell out. I think that they could, recreate some of the classic liveries over the years on some of those same era cars, and they would do great. Even do some current liveries. Somebody needs to do the T-Rex livery, man. I'm telling you. Let's see. Catching up on the slot. SS454 Chevelle. Yeah, that was probably a pretty popular car. Greg, yes, I have a model of a 70 GTO. There you go. That would be sweet. Okay, thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. Yeah, Dusty, I think that's the only way you're going to find a first-gen Nova is to find a model and do a scratch build. I don't know what you're referring to Bruce. You're just good at racing 124 scale. Okay, that's probably what that was in reference to. You can help him sell what? I missed it. Did anyone else notice the hood on the Thunder Slot Mustang? Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, that it. This is John Marks. You can see that with an X-Acto knife, you could pop that hood off pretty easily. So I could see them doing different optional hoods to put on that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what Thunderslot's plans are. They haven't really shared them with anybody. I'm hoping that sometime Dave, maybe after the slot car, the UK slot show, maybe has more information about what their plans are for that platform, because it's obvious that is a platform that redesign, the design on the chassis, all the things that they've put in the chassis that they're not even using, that they have more planned for that. And I think it's good. Shadows. Yes. Sorry, Bruce. I should have known. Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to make that connection. Not that I have any influence at all, but Raul might be able to help us. MP Massimo there with Ernie. I think it'd be great to see you guys have a chance to partner. And you, I'm telling you, like, I love my MR slot car 333 SP. I've actually it's picked up pace. So the motor must be breaking in. It's picked up pace. I've in the last 2 weeks I've picked up almost 0.3 on this layout. It's moving. Dana, then you thought about casting the 908. The NSR 908 is a great body. I love that car. It's one of my favorites. Hey, Bill Royal, welcome. Glad to have you. All right. So let me talk about. So at least we accomplished something. It's 9:06. So I picked this up from Bruce. This is the Revo slot 911 GT2. Talking about I'm working on a video, a tuning video that will probably release sometime midweek, probably Thursday or Friday. If I can, I have most of the video shot. I just need to get good track footage, which is kind of difficult sometimes by yourself, but I'll get it done. I put this thing on the track right out of the box, and no tuning, no lubing, no nothing. I just fluffed up the braids, and I didn't even put the wood guide on it. Joseph, yeah, I'll jump in here. Let's see, Joseph. No, kind words, and no worries, man. You were so helpful when I burned up the chips. I really appreciated the fact that you took time to respond to my messages. It meant a lot, and then I've enjoyed our conversations ever since. Really good stuff. So endorsement, yeah. My brother just bought a tech slot box off of Bruce, just so we have a spare down the road if something happens. So, yeah, when George comes calling for his back. So no worries, man. I really appreciate it. It was very, very kind of you to be so helpful. So, what I did to this car, Gary, this is just for you, Gary. This car's sweet. It comes in some other great liveries. I really struggled choosing the Newman livery and the red livery. They all look really, really good. And I hate to say it that I might end up with another one because this thing really performs well on my track. So I put it on the track, and this thing was so noisy without any tuning. The body was rattling. It just was so noisy. The guide, the chassis, but it still got around the track pretty good. So no tuning at all. I was 10 flat on my layout. So let me talk times so you can get a point of reference. On my layout, the track record for no magnets analog is 8:126, I think. That's going from memory. That is a hopped up car with a little bit of motor, a lot of tuning, really a great runner. But I put a 25K motor in it just to play with it. So it's got some mag downforce. So I guess it's not truly no mag. So my true no magnet is still in the 8.1s. It's the Elva, the Thunderslot Elva, and that was a car that Daryl gave me. It's kind of my pride and joy. I'll be honest with you, I love that car. It's fun on the track and it's fast, but it's quick, and it's my fastest. So that just kind of gives you an idea what the bottom end is. So 8.1s super fast. Most cars are in a well-tuned car is going to run in the mid 8s, 8.4 to 8.8s. Most of the Revo slots, or the Revo slots that we've run on here, are like 8.8, 8.9 all day long, consistently, lap after lap after lap, just a hair under 9 seconds. So this was 10 flat right out of the box. So then I took it apart, and I put the wood guide on it, and I lubed I cleaned the bearings out, and then oiled the bearings. I put some lubrication, some grease on the pinion and spur, or the crown gear, and I gave the body, the chassis, a little bit of float, and the body a little bit of float, and I went from 10.001 to 9.92. I was consistent 9.2, 9.3, and then I threw a set of super tires. Bruce, correct me if I'm wrong. 1509. 1509s, I think that's what they were. Anyway, it's a great super tire. It fit the body well. I didn't have any rubbing issues or anything. I cleaned them real good and shoved them on the track, and I ran an 8.86, which is the same as my other Revo slot that I own, the 333. And then about, 25 or 30 laps later, I ran an 8.7 with it, and that's my fastest lap. Great running car. It really gets through the S turns pretty quick. I think it has to do with the short wheelbase. The wheelbase is a little shorter than the Ferrari, as you can tell, about a half inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And it did really well. So wood guide. And then I took the chassis apart and I put the tape, and I'll talk about that in the video, to quiet. And now this car went from being really loud and clacky around, I did soften the nose of the guide, to super quiet and smooth. It's a nice running car. For those of you who have Revo slots, you understand and you get it. They are really, really good. That's what we called it. 1502s. Thanks, Daryl. 1502s. What am I missing? Truing the tires, lapping the gears, and setting the mesh, along with running the body. Along with running the body screws loose, help a lot. Which, Curvy, love that car. You're talking about my 911. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Joseph is great. It's a secret Weber. Hey, Slot Car Journal. Let's see here. I am so young when I hear all these old-fashioned terms. 1502 RS. Thank you. Is that the tire? Do all slot or most of the Revo slots run that? John, Ross Mills, find valve lapping compound, rubbing compound, or even toothpaste. Coat the gears and run the car at a slow speed, clipped to power supply until you notice the gears are running quieter. Yeah, it polishes those gears, and like the Arm & Hammer toothpaste has baking soda in it, and that's got a little bit of abrasiveness, and so it'll polish those up. John, thanks. That's a great description of that. Appreciate you taking the time to type that up. That means a lot. Don't go thinking anything dirty when we say I'm Billy, thanks. Now I can't get that out of my head. Joking. Gary, yes, you do want one. And you can get one from Bruce. Bruce still has a couple of the different liveries. I don't know how many, if you have any of these left, Bruce, but you can check his website. The Newman livery, the yellow and black, gosh, it's sharp too. Totally recommend it. That's great. So, oh man, I totally forgot I have my phone cam set up so we could have taken a closer look. Um, yeah, the Revo chassis are just they're fantastic. Again, they're not my fastest cars. Um, I have a couple slottets, and an NSR, and a couple of Thunder slots that are faster than this car. But I'm telling you, like these two cars together, um, they are so much fun to drive because of the way the chassis works, and they're a little heavy, so you don't normally have to add weight. Gosh, they really they really look good. You can drive them into the turn a little more. They don't come out of the slot as easy. So, any recommendations on what I should do to this thing? This 1/24th scale. George told me to take the wing off. I might save 20 grams. Let's see here. The first 6 Porsches and the Marcos use 1501. The rest use 1502. Little cars use another size, which Super Tires is working on now. Oh, that's good news. Dave at Slot R, he wouldn't be happy. He loves those little cars. I used to call it overlapping Amanda. Oh, that's great. So yeah, guys, what good one, Amanda. Keep your man in check. I have a feeling that Amanda has no problems keeping Billy in check. I think she can handle her own. Steve, the F40 is really sweet, and that's when I bought this, I thought Bruce was down to his last one. I was just going to pick up the gray Moo livery on the F40 instead. That still might have to happen. I got to stay away from those Revo slots. I need a couple things. I need a Group 5 124 Carrera car. I need to fill out the rest of the classes. I need a backup car to, let's see what else. I've got a backup car to the Group 5 sideways. I've got a couple vintage cars, the NSR 908 and then my Elva for the vintage class. I've got an LMP. I need Group C. I need a Group C cars. Let's see. William, yes, I did the tape modification, and that really quieted this car. You can't see it, but the tape modification really quiets it down and still allows it to move. But I haven't been able to hit my fastest time with it, and it might be because I didn't get the chassis back to the right adjustment. So let's see. Let's go back to this. So the credit belongs to Scott. Thank him from War Eagle River. Yeah. As soon as you pick up the Revo, it says Rolex. Let's see. Yeah, the Repsol 911 livery is pretty sweet. The day-night. You've got the day and then the night city scene. Again, it's a little flashy, and I don't normally go after liveries like that, but man, I really liked it. It looks so good on the track. Again, a lot of times it's liveries that stand out for me that I visually see well. Again, I have focus issues, adult ADHD. Curvy, the Toyota GT1. That's another Revo slot that I love the body. It looks fantastic. I didn't see Jamie in the chat tonight. Jamie has one. Who else has one? Does Josh have one? No, Josh has the 911 GT1 like Dusty's, the blacktail though. They are good running cars, the Toyota GT1s. George talked about it on Raul's stream when he did the Revo slot. That's the video that he did. It's got the tape a Group C NSR Porsche. Does I feel like Slotted is the only company that puts out Group C cars. I want that the new Hexcel Group C. I got the two Momo Ferraris from Revo Slot. Of course you did, Raul. John, true those fronts. John, I was actually going to send you a message. The only thing that I have not done here, I'll flip back over to this other camera. The only thing that I have not done is I've not trued the front tires, and we do have the truer. Oh my gosh, hang on. Dusty picked it up, and it's number 90 with the red base. So number 90 with the red base. It's pretty cool. So, yes, true those fronts. I will do that. Wow, that's way too close to my face. There, how's that? How's that? So maybe that's what I'll do tonight after the live stream. Oh gosh, it's 20 after. I should probably start winding things down. You know what? I haven't really jumped into F1 cars. I see somebody mentioned F1. I've not tried any of the Scale Auto. You bought two Scale Auto 911 RSRs, Steve. That's pretty cool. Raul loves the R chassis, I think is what they call it. These look really, really good. Yeah, that's Curvy Road. That's what I did, man. It really quiets that thing down. Dusty, you don't like flashy liveries either. No, you don't. Should be there tomorrow. That's cool. Let's see. I think you're supposed to be super fast. Yeah, the Scale Auto stuff looks really good. Their detail looks fantastic. It's nice when the liveries complement the lines of the car. Yeah, I agree. That's why I think I like this Repsol. Is it just, even though it's really colorful and there's a lot going on, it's kind of busy. It does show off the car, I feel like, really well. It's just a good looking car. I noticed nobody has a lot of tips for tuning my 124 scale car. I guess Bruce will beat me again on Thursday because I won't be able to compete. I really like the Carrera X KTM X-Bow livery. Yeah, I agree, Danny. That is a good-looking car. We'll have tires. There's tires out there now that you can get for it, where we figured out what tires work. So I think people will be able to get those things tuned up. I think the big thing would be lightening that thing up a little bit, like getting some weight out of it. It is a heavy, heavy car. Marty, do you chip those Revo slot cars for digital? They actually have, let me flip back over to the camera. Oh, wait. Nope, I can't. So here's the thing about the chips. As you can see what they've got right there. That is a hole for the LED to poke through. So the chassis is prepped and ready for a chip. Dave has, Slot R has videos of chipping his Revo slots. I have not chipped one, but I'm thinking about it just to have some fun running digital. But you're right. I do need to true my tires, John. Let's see here. Raul, I almost picked it over the weekend and chose the NSR 908 instead. Yeah, Danny, good choice on the 908. I love the 908. Tough to do on that truer without the 3mm pulley. Yeah, that's what we're running into. there's not a lot of room with the smaller tires. Yeah, the pulley's too big. It rubs. So I'm not sure. I thought about building up the sanding block just to true those up a little bit. I don't know if that would help. And making a smaller square, just to do one tire at a time. So I use 1501 urethanes on the front of the Revo slot. You can't remove much stock rubber. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, Bruce, for the speed tip. Enjoy, Bill. Thanks for joining us tonight. I said true the wheels. The modern F1. So I have a friend. I know he's not watching, but I ran into him at the book signing tonight. And he is a model builder. Builds beautiful Formula One. He's really into Formula One, old school Formula One. And he's building the 1989, and he showed me pictures, 1989 Ferrari F1 car. Would that have been in Nigel Mansell? Oh, my memory is fading. It's beautiful, like super. I was never that good at building models. Glue is messy, and I would have glue everywhere. He just does an amazing job. But I've got. Oh, Daryl, I forgot to bring these back. These little scaly F1 cars. I need to bring those back. I forgot about this. You're on the track. So I've not really gotten into F1, but I think the first one I would buy is the NSR F1. Let's see. Don't have a video for. Let's see. Go to Paul Gage tires on your 124 scale. Bruce, you have a video on 124 tuning that's like 6 or 7 years old. I watched it the other day. It was a good video. Yeah, George Dusty loves flashy liveries. He likes bright things and bourbon. The NSR Corvette Repsol 23 is a really nice livery. Yeah, I agree. So is the Marcos. The Repsol Marcos Revo slot is a great good-looking Repsol livery. The slot Technic chip, that's what I use when I'm chipping an analog car. I just have more room to work with that tiny chip. Let's see. What did I miss? Kirby Road. Marty, I put Paul Gage urethanes on all my 124 scales. Helps a lot. Kirby Road, we run super tires, silicones at Cincy Slots. We run silicone on that track. So I put a set of silicone tires in it, and it really helps. So it definitely made a difference. Daryl, I knew you were going to say that. How many likes do we have? I don't do it for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. But I have no idea how many we had on tonight. Any idea? Well. Yeah, well, it's hard to hit that like button. It's tough. And then nothing has changed in those 6 years. You're using different tires. I think you guys were using urethanes. You're talking about using urethanes that you made, maybe, in that video. So, anyway, good stuff. So no other tips, guys. I promised Gary would run a couple laps. So we're 90 minutes in. I'll run a few laps with this, and then we'll call it an evening. All right. So that kind of shows you how that car gets around the track. So Gary, hopefully you could see that. Hopefully the camera focused on it. Anyone got a stopwatch going? I can show you the screen. It needs more brakes. It won't adjust the brakes. You're definitely right. I need more brakes. But when you're in analog, the computer doesn't really adjust the brake settings very well. You don't get enough brake. So I need to play with it and see what's going on. Needs a wider radius, I guess. No, it doesn't. It needs a better driver. Needs a better driver. Let's see here. What else we have? Loose is fast. Hey, thanks. I appreciate you like the layout. Motor's quiet. Yeah. Let's see. What else? Guys, that wasn't a lot of racing. I could throw the 124 on there and do some laps. But I think we'll wrap it up tonight. So this has been fantastic. Great conversation as always. Again, if you have any tips to make that 124 scale a little quicker. Yes, Steve, the car is quiet. The only problem I have, John, is I don't have the ability to connect the DeFalco to my system without going to the Omni slot box. So we figured out how to, you can get the digital kit for the slotted controller, and there's a power adapter that you plug in front of your power supply, and it works really well. So the slotted controller we can use on here, digital and analog, but I cannot use a DeFalco analog. I use the True Speed because that's what I have the ability to plug into the system. Now, if I went to the Omni slot box, then I can run any controller. So that's probably, yes, I'm using the tech slot box. Thanks, Ross. Appreciate it. Hey, Garth. It's my favorite Garth. Garth Brooks. Garth Frudd. Welcome. Let's see. Thanks, Weber. It's awesome. It's been fun. But yes, I do use the tech slot box. It does great. Hey, Bruce, yeah, we'll see you on Thursday, man. Appreciate that. Matthew woke up and came out and sat here a bit. He asked, why does he keep crashing? That's a good question. Kirby Road, thanks, man. Hey, Chris, happy I can make Tuesdays better. Guys, appreciate it. If you need some coffee, don't forget 2 lines, all one word, get you 25% off. Take care of my buddy Trent if you need some coffee. Yeah, Dusty, don't encourage Eric. Don't encourage him. Guys, this has been great. Have a great evening. Look for a tuning video on the 911 coming out this week. And then hopefully you get in some racing, and hopefully we'll get a chance to race on Thursday night. We'll report back and let you know how it goes. So, Steve, watch out. The Mercedes is coming for you, bro. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening. Peace out.